Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this presentation named Threats in Space, the Dangerous Rise of GNSS Attacks. Let's talk really quick about GNSS and the emerging threats they face. So let's go, let's rock. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Isabel Manjarrez. I am a security researcher in Kaspersky's Global Research and Analysis team. I am a telecommunications engineer. I'm very passionate about satellite communications, and I share this topic with my mom since I was a little girl and with some friends. So let's start. I was doing my research of this hacktivist group named GOSEC, and I learned that they shut down these GNSS satellite receivers in February 2023. These receivers belong to Russia, Belarus, and Serbia, and they posted this information on a Telegram channel, so I wanted to know more. But wait a minute, what is GNSS? GNSS stands for Global Navigation Satellite Systems, and names like GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, BeiDou may sound familiar to you from your map application, but GNSS is more than just an app to find our way back home, to find good places to eat. Actually, GNSS runs the world. It provides positioning, navigation, and timing services. And we can find these services in finance, transportation, power grid, emergency services, military and defense, and more. So it is important, right? What would happen if we just turn off, just shut down this kind of technology? Maybe you will think that the end of the world will look like this, but no, it will look like that. Shutdowns everywhere, no ambulances, lost airplanes, lost people. We will not have our cell phones to post it on social media, so it will be very chaotic. So what kind of threats do these technology face? Mainly, these reports talking about attacks against GNSS talk about jamming, spoofing, signal blockage, and it will sound like science fiction, but missile attacks. That's true. But what if we have not talked about the ground connections of this technology? GNSS receivers have these web interfaces where you can change some settings, some configurations that can be confidential. So what if these are exposed to the internet? What if someone can just access to it and change it? I didn't do it, but I know someone that did it. So we know now a little bit about GNSS. Let's go back to our story. We were talking about GOSEC, remember? So this threat group continued targeting this kind of technology, and they shut down some of these GNSS receivers in March 2023 in Russia, and they did the same in April 2023 in Israel. They actually deleted all the information for 11 different GNSS web interfaces, and they continue doing these kind of attacks. During my research, I just found this report that highlights the exposure of 5 major GNSS receivers, and researchers map out their findings in these beautiful graphs with where they highlight the number of exposure and with the most targeted countries. So I went to do my own research and expanded it to 70 major GNSS receiver vendors, trying to understand the attack surface and trying to update this information to 2024. And here we have these 5 major GNSS receivers and the top countries with the highest number of exposure. And this continued during 2023 and 2024. And I found in July almost 4,000 internet-exposed instances, mainly in the telecommunications and energy sectors. And these, attached to this, we have Linux, Ubuntu, and Debian operative systems. And it didn't stop there. Luckily, our Latin American research team already have a report about SIGSEC, another hacktivist group that has an alliance with GOSEC in a group named the Five Families, and they also targeted this kind of infrastructure in Colombia in May 2023. So hacktivists has a very interest in this kind of technology. During our research, we looked for the open instances just in Colombia. We found 17, mainly in telecommunications and education sectors. This technique may be probably the same that threat actors used to find this kind of instances. So anyone can do it. It will be very dangerous. SIGSEC continue with this kind of attacks in Israel and also in Romania in 2023. The same kind of vendors, the same kind of interfaces, and continue. We have a very recent report where GoldSec also continue in 2024 targeting this kind of infrastructure, now belonging to Israel, with different kind of vendors, but now deleting all the information. They post a video where they show how they delete everything. So it is very important and can be very dangerous. So what about the global overview of all of this? The research continues, and I want to know how this looks in a global scope. So here we have the top countries with most exposed instances and the vulnerabilities that are very close to them. Here we have denial of service, code execution, information disclosure, just to name a few. But we have a lot of exposed instances. What about jamming and spoofing? How it would look like in a real-time world map. As you can see, it is very close to conflict zones. And we already talked about some countries, we already mentioned it. So who would like to mess with this kind of technology? Behind this, we have different kind of motivations, like hacktivism, spy ops, money, political interest, terrorism, and more. The list goes on and on. So now that we know that hacktivists has the interest to target this kind of technology, who else would like to mess with this kind of technology? It is very important, so its security should be a top priority for us. Thank you.